Hello, everybody. Today I'm talking about Saturn in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Saturn stays in one nakshatra for a year, and it is moving into Dhanishta on 17th of February and going to be there till 14th of March 2023. It is going to retrograde in Dhanishta. Dhanishta spans two signs, Capricorn and Aquarius, half each in each sign. And it will affect Moon in Dhanishta, other planets in Dhanishta, ascendant in Dhanishta. So let us explore. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton, and we are talking Saturn in Dhanishta Nakshatra. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. And Saturn in Dhanishta, it is moving on 17th of February and will be there till 14th of March. This is a major change for Saturn because it is leaving Shravana, where it has been for the last year, and it is going into Dhanishta. And so if you have a moon in Shravana, this is very good news because Saturn has completed the intensity of Sade Sati for you. You're still in Sade Sati Shravana moon, but you know that deep intensity has gone. And Dhanishta is where now Saturn's influence is. And he will be there for over a year. And if you have moon, whether it is in Dhanishta Capricorn or Dhanishta Aquarius, then it is going to be impacted. The second most important aspect is if you have ascendant in Dhanishta. So both things that you need to watch out for and plan for it. You know, always with Saturn or any astrology thing, we should have a plan of how we are going to deal with it, what choices we are making in our life. And that is very, very important. So as you know that I've written a book on the Nakshatras, and in my book, I talk about Dhanishta Nakshatra. Dhani means wealthy, Ishta means complete. So Dhanishta is both wealthy in mind and spirit. In ancient times, when the sages alluded to a person being wealthy, they meant that they had wealth of good character, thoughts, and action. Spiritual wealth does not easily come to Dhanishta. They have to achieve it through selfless work, letting go of their personal egos and working with compassion, high ideals. So you see, the thing with Dhanishta is that Dhanishta, while it is powerful nakshatra, it is not easy. And Saturn's transit always is activating our karmic thoughts that what do we need to do? How do we need to accomplish things? So this is most important when we study Dhanishta Nakshatra and Saturn's transit in Dhanishta, because Dhanishta is demanding that we sacrifice our ego. We let go of our personal selfish thoughts and do things for the world. And world can be your own micro world with your family and extended family, then your city, country, world, environment. So, you know, making a small sacrifice today will be very useful later. And this will also can be a very good remedy for Saturn, because as Saturn goes through Dhanishta, we can think how to purify ourselves, how to be less selfish, do something for others, for the world, that makes life easier for everybody. And with that, you know, if you have that thought process, you are actually making your life easier in the end. So it's much nicer to give than to receive. And I think that is important in Dhanishta. Dhanishta's nakshatra is also linked to the sacrifice made by Bhishma, in Mahabharata, who sacrificed himself so that, his father could rule properly. He sacrificed himself for other people throughout his life. So what we can think is, what is it that we want to, it's not just giving up on things, but what we can um, uh, sacrifice something for ourselves so that it becomes better for the rest of the world. And that is the thought process for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you have a planet in Dhanishta or not. Saturn is taking our consciousness there. Saturn is the karma we cannot avoid. Saturn by transit is telling us where the karma is, where he is now interested in. And the change of nakshatras, it has a big say in our life. So it's for the next year. And Saturn will be in Capricorn till 28th of April. Then it will move into Aquarius, Dhanishta. It will retrograde on 4th of June and then retrogrades out of Aquarius, Dhanishta on 12th of July. Then it goes back to Capricorn, Dhanishta. And in October, end of October, it will go direct. And then it remains in Capricorn, Dhanishta till 17th of January. And then from 17th of January to 14th of March, it is in Aquarius, Dhanishta. Then it doesn't come back to Dhanishta. It has completed its journey of Dhanishta. So in my book on Nakshatras, I say the ruling planet Mars is planet of courage and action. Mars allows single-minded pursuit of dharma, responsibility. Dhanishta people have to conquer their inner demons and outer enemies, material desires. Mars is a warrior who defends. He will also be exalted in Capricorn. However, this stage, when Mars is in Capricorn, Dhanishta, Saturn is also there. So therefore, Mars has to face his arch rival enemy, Saturn, restrictions in life so that it can bring the best out for him. Mars is giving us courage to resolve our life. Mars is giving us courage to, face our difficult karmic dilemmas, we can say, and to overcome them. That is most important factor. Now in Dhanishta, there are a number of conjunctions that are taking place. Some are taking place in 2022 and the others are taking place in 2023. First conjunction to Saturn in Dhanishta is by Mercury on 2nd of March, followed by 28th of March with Venus conjunction and 4th of April with Saturn conjunction. I've already made videos about all these three conjunctions, so you can check the Mercury video, Venus and Mars video as well. And the thing is this, that whenever the conjunction is taking place, these planets are having a restriction imposed by Saturn. Maybe you should say it is encouraging you to think about what Dhanishta means. It's encouraging you to think about what is it that you can give up? What is it that you can do to make the world a better place? Mercury conjunction obviously greatly affects Gemini, Virgo, Venus conjunction, Taurus, Libra, and Mars conjunction is with Aries and Scorpio. Now, then after this, there is no other conjunction. On a monthly basis, Moon will come into Dhanishta and conjoin Saturn. 2023, just after Saturn moves into Aquarius, Dhanishta, Venus conjoins on 22nd of January. This is followed by Sun-Saturn conjunction on 16th of February, and then Mercury conjoins with Saturn in Dhanishta, but this time in Aquarius, Dhanishta, on 2nd of March. So Mercury has on the same day, this year in Capricorn, next year in Aquarius, the conjunction, but they are in Dhanishta Nakshatra. And we have that Dhanishta aspect is that Sun especially, then it becomes Leo. Venus is Taurus, and Libra, and Mercury is Gemini, Virgo. So all these signs on the conjunctions have to watch out for. When nearer the time, I will be making new videos for them, so you will be able to understand how it truly impacts you. Intense Sade Sati is for all of you who have moon in Dhanishta. So regardless of what degree it is, if you have moon in Dhanishta, then Saturn is having that intense aspect for you. What you have to, of course, then look at it as when it is going into the exact pada, and when exactly Saturn is going over your moon. But that means that if you are in the intense part of Sade Sati, you are being mindful, careful. This is a pressurized time for you. So you are nurturing yourself. You are being conscious that this is not the easiest time. So make your choices accordingly. I've done many videos on Sade Sati. Please do watch those as well. And then another nakshatra that we are very concerned about is Manasa Nakshatra. Manasa Nakshatra is regarded as the start of Sade Sati. And as soon as Saturn goes into Dhanishta Nakshatra, Manasa for Uttara Bhadrapada. Now, Uttara Bhadrapada is in Pisces, and it's totally in Pisces. So you would think that the Sade Sati begins when Saturn goes into Aquarius. However, the moment Saturn is in Manasa Nakshatra, that means that it is the 25th nakshatra from your moon. I've also made a video on Manasa Nakshatra, and the mind gets very restless, and therefore we are feeling stressed out, troubled, and we start thinking we must do something because the mind is restless. You think I must do something, whereas the opposite is true. So this is most important to know about it, that you are knowing that you are starting Sade Sati, so options are limited. It's a long transit. Life has to carry on. But you don't want to make mistakes at this stage that can be quite pressurized at a later time. So you're thinking long term, and you're thinking, yes, my Manasa Nakshatra is there. It's very good to do meditation, yoga, mantra practice for your Manasa Nakshatra to help you with it. Then if your ascendant is in Dhanishta, then of course it means that Saturn is going to be bothering your ascendant. And of course, you have to see whether it's Dhanishta, Capricorn, or Aquarius. But that means that there's pressure. There may be desire to change your job. They can be also thinking about looking after your health. Although Saturn in both Capricorn and Aquarius, Dhanishta is in full dignity in its own sign. But, when Saturn transit is there, it has that extra pressure on us that we have to be conscious of. Other planets in Dhanishta as well will get affected. When you have a planet where Saturn is moving, usually their impact is very localized. It will be for 15, 20 days according to what the planet is ruling, and then what are the houses it rules as well, and its significations. And of course, Saturn stations in Dhanishta at 1 degree Dhanishta in Aquarius in June, and 24 degrees Dhanishta in Capricorn in October. So if you have planets right under there, or moon or an ascendant, then you can think that those times will be even extra pressurized. So your main thing that you have to think is that how are you going to deal with it, what you're going to do with it. So now I'm going to deal with about how it affects you. And the main thing to understand is that obviously Dhanishta is where the maximum impact is, and we are studying this from your moon nakshatra. So from your moon nakshatra, certain nakshatras are productive, certain nakshatras are obstructive. So I already talked about the 25th nakshatra, which is the one that obstructs the mind and the thinking, but other nakshatras are also there. So the first thing you have to think about is Dhanishta and the other Mars Nakshatra, Chitra and Mrigasira. Because they are all ruled by Mars, they are directly connected to this transit. However, for Mrigasira, Saturn can give, opportunities to be creative, ideas. It is also connected to father. So the father or gurus, you could say, those are the issues we are dealing with. For Chitra, it can be very good professionally. However, Saturn always restructures everything. So for Chitra Nakshatra, Saturn is restructuring. And of course, Dhanishta is where it's all happening. So if you have moon in Dhanishta, then I've already talked about the Sade Sati, and those aspects are there. Now we look at the other nakshatras. Two nakshatras. These are Ashwini, Magha, and Mula. So this is not an easy transit for you. Saturn can throw up some obstacles, and it is important that you are taking good care of yourself. And if the obstacles come, you have a thought process of how you're going to deal with it, what you're going to do with it. Venus nakshatras, these are Bharani, Purva Phalguni, and Purva Ashada. This is a good transit for Saturn for you. It can give ability to organize yourself, to have some plan of action, projects, that some things you want to complete. Usually we like to think about some spiritual tasks you want to complete. However, even if they are practical tasks that you set yourself, you can use this positive Saturn that he will help you to do that. Sun nakshatras, Kritika, Uttara Phalguni, and Uttara Ashada. Now in Kritika, actually Rahu is also placed just now by transit. So Kritika will be more complicated for the Sun nakshatras, but especially for Kritika because Rahu is also there. But the Sun nakshatras are facing complicated, difficult energy for you. So you have to be careful. And, Saturn always supports those who help themselves in a positive way and who look after other people. So when Saturn is not going through the best energy, then you are, following the Saturn rules and regulations, and that would be the best thing to do. Moon nakshatras, Rohini, Hasta, and Shravana. So Shravana, of course, the intense Sade Sati is over. So this is a really positive aspect for you, and you are celebrating it because you have the end of that intensity. You're still in Sade Sati, but it's a good aspect. And Rohini and Hasta and Shravana, this is a beneficial transit for you. Saturn can help increase your wealth, whether it's spiritual or material. It can make you sort of reorganize your money situation. And so always Saturn is advising careful. So it's not like a Jupiter transit that says, okay, do whatever you feel like. Then, of course, I already talked about the Mars nakshatras, Mrigasira, Chitra, and Dhanishta. Mars is definitely positive for the other two, Chitra and Mrigasira. But for Dhanishta, if you have moon in Dhanishta, then this is a very complicated energy for you, and patience and carefulness is important during this transit. Rahu nakshatras, Ardhara, Swati, and Shatabhishak. Now, it is a positive transit. Saturn in the Dhanishta nakshatra is supporting you, helping you, except for Shatabhishak, where Saturn is going to come next year, 2023, and is going to be giving the intense Sade Sati. So Shatabhishak are in that planning that, okay, next year is going to be my intense Sade Sati. So this year, even though I have support of Saturn, I'm not misusing it. I'm taking care and making sure that the choices today are not impacting my future. Of course, we can't be perfect, but we can have this concept that as good as we can get. Jupiter nakshatras, Punavasu, Vishakha, and Purva Bhadra. This is a good transit for Jupiter Nakshatras. Saturn is supporting. Remember, Saturn always supports with some conditions, hard work, responsibility, do the right thing. Then Saturn will give you lots of more opportunities. And if you're impatient and hurrying about things, then he's more difficult for you. Saturn Nakshatras, Pushya, Anuradha, and Uttara Bhadrapada. Now, this is a complex transit for all Saturn Nakshatras. There can be sudden endings, missed opportunities, anger, frustration, and for Uttara Bhadra moon, especially, the Sade Sati is starting with the Manasa Nakshatra transit. So your mind can be restless. Your mind can also be thinking about anger and, wanting to do things quickly, solve all the problems. This is not the time to do it. This is time to do more spiritual things, to be calm and collected at this time about any choices, future choices you make. And I would say it's important not to try to spend too much money, spend your way out of your problems, more to do spiritual things. So this is specifically for Uttara Bhadra, but others also, Saturn rule nakshatras are not having the easiest energy. Mercury nakshatras. Mercury nakshatras are Ashlesha, Jyeshta, and Revati. This is a good transit for you. Saturn is supporting you, giving you opportunities, making life easier for you. I think, again, have a project, have a thinking, this is what I want to achieve, slow and steady. Wins the race, no rush to do anything. Anything with Saturn transits, we have to be conscious about it. So then what can we do about Saturn in Dhanishta Nakshatra? Firstly, Saturn is in full dignity. He is demanding us to be patient, take our time. We have already done Saturn outside, other aspects of Saturn with in Capricorn and with Shravana. But Dhanishta, as I said, it's thinking about what you can do for other people, how you can make life better for others. And that will also help to make life easier for you. I would say on a practical level, be patient, take your time, think about lifestyle choices. Don't overburden yourself. It is not just burdening with emotions, but burdening with expenses. Saturn always likes work. So it's not that you're not working. So don't give up your job or work during this time. And then on a more yogic level, you can think about meditation, mantra chanting, studying some spiritual texts. And then spiritual level, you could think about doing a yatra, getting some pujas done for Saturn. And overall, also donating something. You can do karma yoga, donating your time. You can do other donations like money donation if you can afford, but always donate for a good cause. So thank you very much. Do leave comments for me. And I appreciate you all. Do remember to subscribe.